Branigan Roark, Lincoln, Missouri, driving a number 44 Factor 1 Micro. This is my second season being in the micro racing. I ran go-karts when I was a little kid for a couple years. I've been in a top fuel drag car, a smaller version for a couple races and had some fun with that. And ever since I got into micro, I've loved it, and I've had my dad and my family, they've been in the racing business and whatnot for about 18 to 20 years combined. I've had a few different sponsors within the past 2 years I've been running. I got Pro Choice Marine, Luxair Heating and Cooling, Wilson Diesel, I've got AFB Trucking, Boars Hauling, Reese Nichols, Real Estate. I've also got Pizza Glen, Knox Enterprises. They help me out with some vinyl and graphics designs. I've got Ghoul Injections helping me out, trying to get me some more power in the car and whatnot. And other than my main sponsors, I gotta thank my family and, you know, my parents' business. If it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of stuff. Making my second appearance down here for a Golden Driller and see if I can't do something with it and try and have some luck and go out and play for a week like everyone else is, you know. This show brings families, competitors, teams, and the sport all together. And on top of that, you've got some of the best racers in the world in this size car, and even you've got people that run the World of Outlaws and run, you know, the USAC midgets and all kinds of sprint cars and even some other forms of racing that come in and they rent a micro out or they hop in one and they just want another chance to run and race. And you know, this place has a really nice facility. You're running on a nice sized track, you know, it's all indoor. In the middle of the winter, you don't have too many places that you can run when it's cold and snowy out. You know, with an indoor track and a nice facility like this, you can come in and I mean, there's 1,200 cars here. It's great being down here, and I mean, like I said, this is my second year trying to run down here. I've came multiple times to watch when my dad raced. I came down here whenever he was racing, and I was the little kid that was scrubbing the mud off the car and whatnot, but just the atmosphere is amazing. You know, it's something, it might be a 6 or 7 inch golden trophy, but you know, everyone tries to get that golden trophy. I mean, everyone thinks they can win. I've got the car, I've got the motor, you know, I've got the mentality and whatnot, because that's the big thing. If you go out thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to compete, well, then right there, you're screwed off the start. It doesn't matter whether you start dead last or you're all the way back in a D main. If you tell yourself you can do it and you've got a car that you feel comfortable with, you get in that son of a bitch and you just drive and you go, and you'll find a way to the front one way or another. Started on pole for my A-class heat, led the first few laps, went in, was running really good, and then ended up getting a little loose in a couple corners and had a guy pass me on the outside. Turned back around, was trying to catch him and about had him for a minute, and then caught the berm and lost another spot. And then after that, I ended up getting past again and got slide job pulled on me, and I was lucky because I almost thought about trying to hold him off and then really could have done some damage to my car. Better yet, I mean, I'd rather keep my car in one piece and be able to race the rest of the week. I just was sitting there and pushed a little too hard, and you know, like I said, got a little loose, got a little bit too high up on the berm, almost lost it for a minute, but held on, ended up finishing fourth, and you know, we'll go on with the next race and try and finish the week out strong. There was a collision coming out of turn 4, had a couple cars that got junked up and got into that a little bit, but luckily I didn't have anything bent up. Had a really fast car was set up good, just an outmotored issue. I'm running a stock motor in an outlaw class, you know, you got guys running a 2 mil and whatnot, but I mean, the car held together good. My setup worked great and the car was running good. I ran the bottom most of the time. I thought about running up to the top. I had some traction and some stick, and both my rear tires were working, so I know my setup was working pretty damn well. I mean, I drove my race, and you know, like I said, in a class like that, you get outmotored here and there. I know that I gained some ground in this race and got my other race to look forward to, so we'll just have to see what happens. Went out, was 6th row outside, the Outlaw Wing qualifier. Went out, had a good lap and a half. Bit the cushion going in, felt like the front right dug in a little bit. Ended up tapping the berm a little too hard and went over and tore some shit up. You know, it's part of Tulsa, it's part of racing. We're gonna get this thing put back together and run the B main tomorrow and see if I can't make some spots and see if I can't do something to get in the A main. Probably gonna take about 5-6 hours worth of work, try and get this thing put back together, but I know with team and people, friends, you know, we'll get it put back together in no time and we'll be back out there for tomorrow. Try and see what we can do. Just finished my last race for the week down here at Tulsa. Started 6th row outside of my Outlaw B main. I was the last Outlaw B main of the week. Car handled pretty good. I couldn't tell. You know, we had some issues last night and ended up tearing an axle out, having to rebuild some stuff. So wasn't sure if the setup was going to be quite right because we changed stuff up a little bit. Car held together pretty good. You know, went out and drove past a couple people and then I lost some ground. I ended up getting a little too high up over the berm. Ended up riding a wheelie down part of the backstretch, and you know, it's fun when you're in the car, but at the same time it's scary as hell because you don't know what's in front of you or you can't really see anything. It was a pretty good week down here at Tulsa. You know, last year was my first year down here and I ended up doing pretty well, just about the same amount of quality as I did last year. I ended up being done with A class on Saturday and I made it to Sunday in the Outlaw Wing class, and you know, I repeated that this year, so hopefully next year when we come back down here we might have a little better luck and, you know, go home this week and tear the car down and get things wrapped up and start and rebuild for next season. Sweet Springs, Missouri, that's my main track. That's home. You know, it's a 6-mile track and, you know, it's fast, it's fun, it's got decent banking, and, you know, we've got some decent competition up there. It's nice whenever we got out-of-towners that come up and, you know, we've got a lot of Oklahoma boys that come. Every now and then we've got some California guys. I think we had a couple New Mexico and Texas guys that came up there one weekend for one of our big shows. I mean, really anyone that shows up there. I haven't had too many people that have complained to me about the track or the facility. We've made some updates within the past season, you know, between the group and the club up there, and now, you know, I'm sure within this off season we'll rebuild and work on some stuff at the track and try and make it nicer, just so that we can all go out and enjoy what we love doing a little more. Double X Speedway in California, Missouri, the track of Jesse the Rocket Hockey, you know, right here. Missed the guy to death, and you know, that's a fun track. It's crazy as hell, and people don't like going over there because a lot of shit gets tore up. It's kind of like a paperclip racetrack, you know, tight corners and then long, fast straightaways. But, you know, I'm going to see about running and maybe going up to do some big money shows this year and, you know, maybe get a new car or something. We'll see what happens and just try and get ready for the season during this off season. And, you know, I hope to improve as a driver, and I know that within the past season I've improved as a driver a lot. So the more seat time I get and the better equipment I can have, you know, the better driver hopefully I can be, and one day be able to win a driller or go out and win a championship for points, or, you know, go out and just win anything I want to win. So, you know, it takes work at everything you want to do, and racing, you know, you don't win everything. One day you win one and the next day you get last or you wreck out. You know, it comes and goes. So we'll just have to see what happens and go with it.
This presentation by Dirt Track State of Mind was brought to you by Liquid Nitro Energy Drinks, KICKASS Beef Jerky, Hyper Racing, Radical RaceGear, and Smiley's Racing Products.